This episode of the Golf Gaming Podcast on the Sports Gaming Podcast Network is presented to you by the SGPN Burst Store. Use promo code SGPNBA to get 10% off everything in the SGPN store. All right, DJs, welcome back. We're not covering the piece of shit Zurich this week, so we're gonna do a little mailbag and maybe talk a little LIV just to hit some outrights. It's your boy Boston Capital with the God of Golf himself, Steve Shermer. Steve, it's been a nice week off, man. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you don't want to talk about how we can bet Cantlay and Xander at minus 225 finished in the top 10, the biggest lock of the century for this week.
Somehow it would still fuck up. Like I don't trust bets like that.
See, I found
the outright's like fucking 3.5 to 1. That's fucking ridiculous.
So I found a minus 150 on that. That was pretty mispriced. I'm like, you know what? Fine. If it's got a 1 in front of it, yeah. I mean, that field is complete trash too. Like, did you see some of the names and some of the teams that are in there?
Yeah, I mean, I perused it when it came out, and I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit about this event.
David Duval and John Daly. Come on.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
I'd watch that.
Well, of course. That's basically what the PGA Tour is banking on this week. It's just like they're going to have probably a bunch of content on their social medias about John Daly and all that stuff. And I don't know. It's I give zero fucks. Well, we're going to have to care eventually when this thing's elevated in a couple of years.
Yeah, whatever. I'll be dead by then.
You'll be dead by then. Okay, so who will be my co-host then? Is it going to be BK Cameron. At that point?
Cameron's the next one.
He's going to be Paulie, maybe?
Yeah, Paulie.
I wouldn't mind that. He sent a pretty interesting question that he can hold his own now. I would say if I was going to have probably the most improved, I would give it to Paulie. Paulie is definitely sharp now. I think when he first started, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And now
firing off 600 bets a week.
He's pretty good. I don't know if it's because of everything we've told him or everything he's been consuming, but props to him. He's been putting in a lot of good work, and he gives a lot of valuable feedback now.
Nice. Maybe I'll get in the Slack again at some point, or Discord.
Discord.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes,
it's too busy for me, man.
Well, the golf channel has not been busy this week.
No. Oh, geez, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Fucking nerd Fitzpatrick wins, and fucking. Ugh, God, dude,
do you want to talk about that? Do you want to get on the psychiatrist couch? The fact that another Fitzpatrick narrative win happened.
I just don't care anymore. He's such a fucking tool.
That's not true. You definitely care.
He is.
Do you want me to read your text messages from this weekend? You definitely still care.
No. I'm just saying that. It's so annoying. I hate him. He's so annoying. I don't like his face. I don't like the way he plays golf. I don't like anything about him.
Do you just not like the fact he's got braces and Skechers too?
Oh, that definitely does not help. That's fucking ridiculous.
And, well, we got a question about Matthew Fitzpatrick later. So
okay. I've read the questions this morning, and to be completely honest, I haven't looked at them again. So you get honest reaction.
Okay, great. You know what? That's probably the best way to it, anyways. Do you have any other takes about Heritage? How about Cantlay basically doing what Shane Lowry did last year?
Yeah, well, I know. I know. I was fine with that. Like, whatever. I hate fucking Cantlay. Like, so you're not on Twitter, but a guy, I forget what hole it was. He was behind the tree. He hit that low stinger to get up close to the green. It took him over 4 fucking minutes once he got to the ball to hit the ball. He was running like the stopwatch and showing it to the camera. Mm-hmm. And people were starting to heckle him. Cantlay's caddy flipped somebody off. It's gonna get bad. Like, we need to start heckling him. That's what we need to fucking start doing. Like, people are gonna have to get thrown out of golf tournaments to make a point. And I will do it at TPC next year. I will absolutely get thrown out of TPC next year to yelling at Cantlay to hurry the fuck up.
Well, I have an opportunity, and Cam, our producer, is going to show up a little later. We have an opportunity to heckle Cantlay if
but those tickets are too expensive to get. I usually get comp my TPC tickets, so I don't give a shit.
The PGA is the Wild West. All right, so let's go back to last. They don't care the PGA. So first of all, Bethpage Black, they were screaming spaghetti and meatballs at Molinari and shrimp on the Barbie to all the Australian players. Back at the last time at Oak Hill, this is where Baba Booey first really started here, and they were I think chanting fried chicken at Sergio because he made those fried chicken comments about Tiger.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about those.
Oh, yeah. The Rochester crowd got pretty rowdy.
Holy shit. Sergio would have got canceled so fucking hard this year, this last couple of years if he pulled that shit now.
Yeah. And I can't believe he got very
Tiger
glossed over back then.
I can't believe Tiger didn't fucking punch him in the mouth.
I mean, Tiger's got his own issues off the course. So,
yeah, that's fine. That's different. Tiger's a fucking big dude, man. He could whoop the shit out of Sergio, I bet.
I mean, I think he probably just said like, all right, look at all my major championships. You're just a pissant to me. So this was before Sergio even won a Players. This is the year that Tiger beat Sergio at the Players that year too. So he's probably just like whatever at that point.
I guess my first instinct is violence. So
yes, it is. So I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of out of heritage. I went golfing on Sunday. I missed a lot of the final round. I didn't have any outright sweats. I did pretty well with positionals though. Once again.
I smoked positionals this week.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually,
even though I screenshotted all my fucking bets this week for that same bookie who fucking all of a sudden the tickets are different, and I was like, here you go, I screenshotted it this week when I laid the bet. Check the ticket numbers. Your payout's wrong. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fucking dirtbags.
Sorry for your struggles dealing with illegitimate gambling sources there.
I don't know what you want me to do.
Move. You can move.
Fuck that shit. Well, I don't know. It's me and my wife have been kicking the idea around a little bit.
Well, I mean, like it's starting to get miserable in Florida too. It's gonna be the summer. It's you don't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well, what's funny is it's fucking cold for Florida today. It was like 55. I was like, what the hell's happening? Like it warmed up during the day, but this morning it was fucking cold because I drive my wife to the airport and it was fucking cold out. I was like, I put a sweatshirt on. What the hell is this? It's almost fucking May.
Well, 2 days ago, and this is actually going to be a little bit of a sneak preview for the PGA. It was 85 degrees 2 days ago, and today it snowed. Yeah. So weather's going to be a little unpredictable. So be careful placing any of your futures bets on the PGA because something bad could happen with a weather split here for sure.
I do want to address Vic from last week. What the fuck, man? Like, is he just unbettable?
Well, I feel like why don't we save that? Why don't we take our first break, and then we'll talk about Victor Hovland.
All right, fair enough. Well, listen, we're brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. The NBA and NHL playoffs are here, and what better way to get down on some player prop parlays than over at Underdog Fantasy? Besides the NHL, NBA, and MLB games, they've also got NFL best ball drafts with a guaranteed $500,000 in prizes. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
Okay, so you want to bitch about Victor Hovland then?
I just don't know what to do with him. Like, why the fuck are we betting this guy with a 2 in front of his name when he can't fucking win? And he legit can't. Like, he just does. Like, that was an epic fucking meltdown.
It was. I mean, I missed a lot of it on Saturday, but I mean, what happened? I guess
it's just the putting was miserable up until that point, and. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't watch a whole lot of it either. I was just watching it on my phone, watching my fucking positional and outright get fucking obliterated on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. Bunch of doubles. Like, I don't know, man. Like, something about him that is just, I mean, we talked about it before, like the meltdowns on the Sunday. He melted down at the Open, melted down at the Masters, like, or just maybe not meltdown. That might be a little strong, but just didn't do anything. So I don't know if he has that mentality. I think he smokes too many fucking blunts and is just too happy and carefree in the world.
See, I still think he can be a force and a winner on the PGA. So I'm not ready to give him Victor Hovland just yet. I mean, that was a really bad look what happened on Saturday when the fact that he lost 8.5 strokes to the field when everybody was laying up. I'll get it. At the Masters, just it seems like when it got windy, just the fact that he's not very good around the green, that cost him. So I don't know.
Are you going to bet Vic with a 2 in front of his name anymore?
Depends. Depends on the field. Depends on the tournament.
Yeah. I would say no. I'm a hard no for a 2 in front of Vic's name.
Okay. So just first round leader for you, and then that's it.
Probably. No.
Okay. All right.
He's a great first round leader because he spikes, but like, I just don't. He can't do it for 4 days for whatever reason, unless it's some bullshit fucking non-continental U.S. course.
I mean, there's a lot of bullshit courses that we're actually getting into bullshit. I know. PGA Tour season coming up.
I'm aware.
Yeah. I mean, like, I actually saw a take that there's elevated event fatigue happening on it.
Yeah, Rory's has elevated event fatigue because he took his ball and he went home. Crybaby bitch.
That was a bad look. Do you think he's actually going to get fined $3 million, or do you think that's?
Yeah, you have to.
I think they're going to work out a deal with the PGA Tour where,
like a backroom deal.
I think they're going to make him play some sort of. He'll have to defer it to next year, and he's have to play some sort of BS event next year.
They should fucking
and then they'll give it to him.
Yeah, that's a bad precedent because then everybody else is going to skip and be like, "Fuck you." Like,
oh, I get it. I think the PGA Tour. I think Jay Monahan is weak.
Yeah, no shit.
He doesn't have a spine, and I think he's going to end up working out some sort of deal with their crown jewel prince to make sure he's still happy.
Mental fucking midget is what Rory is.
All right. You got any other takes for Heritage, or can we move on to talk about LIV? All right, LIV golf.
I know nothing about the golf course at all.
Well, I do, and that's what you rely on me for.
Well, I already made my bets. I asked you 2 days ago what it was. You didn't tell me.
Okay. Well, we'll see if based on what I say. I mean, look, I don't have a lot of information about it. I have some general information. I have some architecture stuff. That's really about it. So, all right. So they're playing. This is LIV Golf Adelaide or LIV Golf Australia. I would probably say this is probably one of the primary reasons, other than money, why Cam Smith and Leishman wanted to go play LIV is because they wanted to go play in Australia. I mean, the PGA Tour never bothered to form an event down down in Australia. The European Tour kind of moved away from it too. So this was kind of appealing to a lot of those Australian players to go down there. So Adelaide is on the southern coast of Australia. It is the capital of South Australia. It's kind of like, Australia is basically the shape of an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, it's by the right thumper like stick, basically. Okay. Right. So if you're picturing the controller, that's where it is. Excuse me. So it's at the Grange Golf Club, which actually was the site of Greg Norman's first win ever. I think like back in 1976. It was called something different back then. Since then, he ended up renovating the East Course. And then there's the West Course, a guy named Mike Clayton, who's done a lot of work in Australia. He's teamed up with a guy named Mike DeVries on a couple of golf courses. Mike DeVries is very, he's very underrated golf course architect. He was featured a lot in the No Laying Up series when they went to Michigan. A lot of really solid golf courses with him. So that's like a legitimate architecture name, this guy. So he did the West Course. So a lot of people will think, okay, like Australia, Sandbell, Royal Melbourne. It's not really like that. Like there's some features that's a little bit kind of like Australian golf course where, there's a lot of sharp edges on the bunkers. It reminds me a lot of the bunkers at a place called the Metropolitan. They played, I think, the Australian Open back there a couple of years ago. Or if I really want to relate to PGA Tour golf course, kind of like what Tom Fazio attempted to do at Congaree. The bunkers kind of like sharply edged, like the fairways kind of rolled. There was no rough around them. They just rolled right into the bunkers. Basically, it's like that. The golf course is very flat. It's also very short. So according to LIV, I think it's going to play about 6,946 yards. Damn. Now the par threes are pretty short. There's a par three that's like 135 yards. And it's like 150. But overall, though, a lot of the par fours aren't very long. It's also very tree lined, which you don't really see a whole lot of that on Australian golf course. It's kind of a little more wider and, a little more windswept. This is very tight and narrow. They're also growing up the rough a little bit more to protect it, I think, because it's really short. But overall, with the LIV golf courses, the rough hasn't really been all that penal. So, and as far as agronomy, I know it's bent grass greens. I don't know exactly what it is in the fairways. I'm going to guess it's zoysia because zoysia is very popular grass in Australia. So you think about some zoysia golf courses, TPC Craig Ranch, that is very familiar with our producer. There is TPC Southwind. Those fairways are zoysia. East Lake, those fairways are zoysia. Trinity Forest, when they used to play the Byron Nelson there, that's also all zoysia too. So, some of the things I looked at a little bit of zoysia golf courses. I looked at some of the shorter golf courses where you got to hit a lot of wedges. And I just looked generally at, how you've been doing on LIV. A lot of these subs have been kind of the same. So if you've been gaining a little bit strokes on the field, having some solid finishes, I looked at that. If you hit your short irons pretty well, I looked at that too. And I do have a feeling just kind of how this golf course is. I think it's going to breed a guy who is pretty good with their short game, pretty good with their wedges. You can technically kind of bomb it, kind of like how you might do it at like Silverado. I don't know how much benefit that really is in this place. So I don't really look at like bombers really. It's kind of more, shorter wedge players, accurate guys, pretty good scramblers, that type of stuff. Okay. So would you bet outright this week for LIV Golf?
The laziest of lazy takes. Cam 10-1, Leishman 36-1. and Phil at 55 because fuck it. I don't really think he gives a shit. I think he was trying to flop it on the table at the Masters to show that he still had it. And I think he'll go back to sucking on LIV this week. But it was 55, and I don't particularly give a shit. I want one of the Aussies to win and one of the Aussies that I like. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, I share one of those, and it's not Cam Smith. It's not Phil.
Leishman, let's go, baby.
It's Leishman. So, I think looking at his LIV results, they've been a little better. I think I said this last time in Orlando, and that flew up in my face. But I mean, he probably should have won at Tucson. Obviously from Australia, every time he's gone down there for one of those Australian Open events or anything like that, he's done relatively well. So at 30, I got him at only at 30, but I think he's done pretty well in some other shorter golf courses in the PGA Tour. He's won TPC River Highlands. He finished, I think, third at the Byron Nelson Trinity Forest. That was all Zoysia too. So maybe that's a grass type he kind of prefers. So I went with Leishman at 30 to 1. And then some other guys I bet Patrick Reed 16 to 1, obviously coming off a really good finish at the Masters, good wedge player, good scrambler, really good at some of these other shorter golf courses too. And, if you remember a couple of years ago, he went down to Australia and he got into it with the fans, caddying and punching guys. So maybe there's a little bit of chip on his shoulder.
How did I forget?
Back. It's a President's Cup. Well, it was a President's Cup. And it was in the middle of the night. It was right after the scoop.
It's coming back. Yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Yeah. So he was pretending to scoop sand, and then the fans got on him because the U.S. were losing inexplicably, and this caddy punched somebody in the face. It was yeah, and then he ended up winning, I think 4-1 or 4-3 or something the next day. So
that's when he was doing the right? Isn't that when he was doing that?
I mean, he's done that a couple times.
Yeah, but I think that's the original one, right?
No, the original one was in 2014 at Glen Eagles when the U.S. was getting their asses kicked. Yeah,
makes sense that he's
Patrick Reed, real team player,
team guy. I was about to say, it makes sense that he celebrates. He's like the asshole wide receiver who does a fucking dance when your team's down 21. So annoying. Stop fucking celebrating. Throw the ball down and get back on the sideline, fucker.
So I also bet a guy who I picked on a little bit at the Masters. I made a little bit of money on him. So you know what? Why don't I just donate some of the money I won off him to an outright bet? How about Abe Answer 22 to 1? So think about a guy who's pretty, fairly accurate, good with their wedges, won at TPC Southwind, good at a couple other shorter positional golf courses too. I'm a little concerned with the fact that he's not very good around the green, which is a little bit what I'm targeting this week. But so you're going to hear this narrative this week. He's won Australian Open before. That golf course that he won, I think it was called the Lakes. It's over in Sydney. I think that's a little more rugged than this place, but the guy who redesigned that golf course, Mike Clayton, did a little bit of work here. So a little bit of an architecture link. Maybe there's something to that. I also bet Taylor Gooch 25 to 1. I think he's just been playing kind of solid, kind of a little bit under the radar in LIV, like kind of a lot of solid top 12 finishes. Played all right at the Masters. He's won RSM. He's done pretty well at Mayakoba. So, 25 to 1 for a guy I feel like is pretty good. And he's a pretty good scrambler as well. Went with him. And a couple long shots, I guess, if there are long shots in a 48-man field. Cameron Tringali, 55 to 1. So he's pretty good around the green, pretty good with his wedges. He does stink, but hey, listen, if Danny Lee can win one of these things, Cameron Tringali can win one of these things.
That's fucking fair.
He's done pretty well some of these other shorter golf courses on the PGA Tour when he was over here. He also, I remember that he ran, I think because I actually just had my kid, I was watching the Australian Open like real late at night. And he was 54-hole leader, I think, at the Aussie Open. Now, that golf course was the Jack Nicklaus, which looks nothing like this place. But I remember when he was first-round leader last year at the Scottish Open, he kind of was talking about how he liked traveling and playing like golf courses in different countries. Maybe he's in kind of a good mindset this week. He finished fifth at that Aussie Open. The fact that he was willing to go down there and play it, maybe he's excited to be there this week. So Tringali 55 to 1. And then another Aussie. How about Matt Jones 60 to 1? So he's been a little up and down, 7th in Oman, 7th in Tucson. He finished second at TPC San Antonio last year. That's Greg Norman, pretty good around the green. Can't really do a whole lot of other stuff, but he's fairly good with his wedges. That's another guy too, that he's played a lot of Aussie events, just traveled down there. He tends to do pretty well every time he shows up in one of these random Australian events, like the Australian PGA, Australian Open. So look, I just mentioned if Danny Lee can win this thing, why not Matt Jones in Australia?
I might join you on Matt Jones. He made me a lot of money. He made me a lot of money one weekend.
He did at the Honda Classic. That
he did. It's beautiful.
And, yep, and we might get a question on that maybe that a little later. So, okay. All right, that's LIV Golf. I got really nothing else. So, do you want to jump right into the mailbag?
Well, let's do the ad read first.
Okay.
We'll wrap that up. So listen, we're brought to you guys by the SGPN merch store. And in honor of the NBA playoffs from now until the end of April, you get 10% off anything in the SGPN merch store when you use promo code SGPNBA. So head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com and use promo code SGPNBA to get 10% off everything. Mention, so like you guys can go get those thin hoodies. Probably getting a little warm for that. I love the Refs Terrorist t-shirts. That's a fucking winner. That's definitely a conversation starter at any sporting event you go to. So go grab one of those with a 10% discount off, or one of the Golf Gambling Podcast polos, which are super.
Yes, it is.
And nice and light.
So, all right. Well, now we welcome to the show our producer and moderator of the mailbag segment, Cameron Kerr. Cameron, welcome. Thanks for coming on here.
What is up, guys?
What's up, buddy? You got your weights in the background. You're just trying to show that you're staying in shape and staying svelte, even though you're pumping out kids. You're not going to get fat like I did.
Yeah. So the new baby's current room used to be my office, so I had to consolidate everything I own into one tiny square room. So
keep having a buddy, and you're not even going to have a room anymore.
We've already talked about that. I'm gonna build I'm gonna have to build a whole nother building next, like a whole nother garage on next to it if we keep this up. So
have you figured out what causes it yet?
Sorry, what was that?
Have you figured out what causes it yet?
The kids?
So, I don't know if you want to keep going or not. I don't know if you
it's in the top shelf. It's called the liquor cabinet.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve, we got to get a couple more of those golf gambling polos.
We do. We're going to need them next month for the PGA. We got to be rolling around Oak Hill, repping the brand there.
Yep. I'm gonna slip a bribe to the Hovland tracker. He's working the merch booth, so I'm gonna slip him a 20 and we'll get to cut in front in the merch line.
Nice.
Well, not after we just trash Hovland on this show. So hopefully he doesn't hear that.
Yeah, I've been tweeting him. He was like +7, and I replied. I was like, "That's not ideal," and he didn't reply, so he might not.
So wait, is he from Rochester then?
No, but I think he works for the company that puts on the merch tent.
Oh, okay.
So he I posted "Hey, who's coming? To the PGA? We'll be there." And he replied and was like, "Yeah, I'll be, working the merch booth." And I was like, "Sweet."
Okay, there you go. Hey, we lose Capper there?
I guess we did.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, with that then, why don't we just maybe I'll start with the first question.
Okay.
We'll hopefully he comes back.
Yeah. Well, so these first couple were from our friend in the Discord, so we can start with those. And man, I'm gonna butcher how he probably pronounces this, but he's pretty active. His name is Lobayachi.
Yep.
Lobayachi, I guess that's how you say it. So he wanted to ask you a few questions about bankroll management and stuff like that, and how you kind of how you structure your cards. Sure. His first question was, how much risk do you typically take on per tournament? And I'm guessing he's talking about how much do you usually keep it consistent? Risk the same amount, or do you kind of structure your bets on a winning percent, a winning number?
I mean, it's kind of, I guess, plays in a little bit of his next question too. I mean, typically for most PGA Tour events, regular ones, I'm probably risking about between 7 and 10 units total. And probably about 85% of my card is going to be positionals. Probably about 15% is outrights. And with outrights, I'm not really looking to hit like a huge amount. I'm looking to maybe, win, 8.5 to 10 units total there. I'm really just trying to crank out positionals. I mean, I'm, a lot of people with golf gambling. I kind of feel like this is maybe a problem with it, is that they see all these big numbers and they just try and hit home runs. And I'm kind of just out here trying to hit singles and doubles and just accumulating at that point. And that's been pretty successful for me this year and prior years. So I know it's not sexy how I bet, but, kind of lean into finding good positionals at top 10s, 20s, 40s at, plus odds. I kind of prefer doing that instead of massive parlays or trying to hit the 151 long shot to, pay for expenses.
Yeah.
I feel attacked.
Well, that's why we work. We're the yin and yang,
Yeah. So you're the Ichiro of golf gambling.
Oh, that thought actually just crossed my mind. I'm Ichiro Suzuki of golf gambling.
That's right. I like it. So what was the question basically? Like, how much do we bash on Washington?
Yeah. Do you typically, like, how much do you risk, per tournament?
Yeah. So it's, it really varies for me. Like if I feel like I have a good card, I will overexpose myself. If I feel like I'm not seeing the board well, I'll pull it back a little bit. But like in general, I probably have most of my money on positionals at this point. By like a pretty wide margin. I've been scaling back on the matchups, but getting shopping with that. There's a ton of variance in it. And then outrights, depending on the price, right? Like if I bet Rahm at 8-1, I'm trying to win at least 1,600, right? But you know what I mean? So if I bet him, that leaves me single bullet, and maybe I'll sprinkle like a little hedge, like a 25, like whatever, like $25 or $50 on like somebody at 25-1, just so I have another dog in the fight, which isn't the best way to go. But if I don't, it's normally, trying to win, somewhere between like 1,500 and like if it's a longer shot, more than that. But that's what I'm trying to win, 1,500 to 2,000 on an outright.
Now,
yeah, it's very.
Sorry, go ahead, Cameron.
It's very easy with golf, I've noticed, to get wild with it, get out of hand quick. Like I'll put a couple bets in at the beginning of the week, and then by Wednesday I'm like, oh shoot, I have way too many outrights. Like I've way over leverage.
I never bet more than 6 outrights, just on how I bet too, right? Like I just won't do it. Like maybe I'll live ad, but I typically don't live ad much. I mean, I can count. When did the season technically start, Steve?
What do you mean? Oh, like last October?
Yeah. So I mean, it's April, and I probably have bet live maybe like 5 guys, 6 guys. I just take my fucking medicine, man. Golf is so much variance in it that it's just like, okay, I'm out this week. Like whatever. I'll hang on to my positionals and things like that. I bet heavy on the positionals. That's where I try to make my money, as the positionals and matchups, and hope I hit it out right. I have my fun with my first round leaders, but like on like the Masters, like I overexposed myself on first round leaders, like by a lot.
I was going to ask you. So for majors, are you kind of like me, where I just treat like Disney World? I don't really care how much I spend. I just want to have fun. Like that. Like that's when like I try not to live ad, because I feel like a lot of times I just end up just wasting more units at that point.
Wasting money. Yeah.
So at the majors, I'll try and do that. Last week I did this because I thought I just had an idea that Xander was going to make a run, and he did make a run. It was just too little, too late.
Right. Per usual for fucking Xander.
Yes, per usual. So, but overall, though, I'm the same way. I try not to really add pre-tournament or during the tournament. I kind of just because, like I mentioned, outrights is not how I'm trying to make money. That's just the fun part of golf gambling. It's positionals. That's how I end up accumulating, and that's how I just basically want to build my bankroll.
I would say that, like, if you're chasing, like, let's say like disaster card, it's all fucking dead on Thursday, and you're trying not to, or Friday, you're trying not to pay the bookie on Monday. That's when you can take a look at some matchups. But really dig in, man. Like really dig in. Like I've fought my way out of that sometimes, but then sometimes I can go completely wrong, right? Like I'll overexpose myself. Like, oh, I really love this matchup. I'm putting fucking 5 units on. I'm max betting this fucking thing, and then it gets crushed, and now I'm down triple, or like not triple, but like I was already down 10, 15 units, and now I'm down another fucking 5. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to eat it and realize when you're on a fucking cold streak too, man.
Like, there you go. I mean, as far as like how much so for me personally with outrights, Total pre-term, I'm usually risking between 1 and 1 1/3 units just on outrights pre-tournament. And then positionals, usually I'm betting probably 8 units total on positionals. And I try and target, I don't want to pay a lot of juice on something unless I see something stupid like a ROM top 10 in a crap field at like plus 100, minus 105. I'll just bet that. But normally, though, I'm trying to get between my sweet spots between like plus 125 and plus like 230. I notice I've had a lot of success finding good value in that range for top 20s, top 40s on all those guys. And at that point, like you don't have to hit every single one. You know, you can hit 45% of those, but if they're all plus money at that point, you're going to come out ahead. So that's kind of what I try doing. I try to win enough of my positionals to cover the outright, make a little bit more if I don't hit. And then if the outright hits, that's a nice week. So, but I mean, I've also had, I've had some good weeks lately where like I've been winning 4, 5, 6 units because I've been hitting like 7 of 11 positionals. Like
that's exactly what I was going to say. So like, I mean, take a look at some of these, whatever. I can't pull my card, but like Kuchar was fucking 2-1. Davis was plus fucking 450 for me. And even some of the favorites you're getting, plus 160, like that's plus 180. You know what I mean? Like to get a top 20 and get plus money. Yeah, I've really focused in on the top 20 market just because one, I have no dead heat at this book, and that's fucking super helpful, right? Because if you have dead heats, that's a different animal, right? It's a different conversation,
right?
But I have no dead heats at this book, so I do all my positionals at this one book where there's no dead heat.
Yeah, and that's another good point too. Is like, I mean, there's a lot of guys in golf where you scoff at plus 130, you scoff at like plus 180, but think about any other sport. If you're hitting plus 180s in basketball or football, people are high-fiving you. And golf, somehow that just means you're a coward or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't see it that way. I just see it as, you know, you're hitting something with a 35% probability and you're doing it pretty consistently. I feel that's, you know, doing a good job at that point.
That blows my mind. Like if you compute a golf outright at like, let's say 25-1, like Scotty Scheffler at the WM, that's like an 8-leg parlay,
right?
In football.
Yeah,
exactly. That's insane. Like, if you think about it that way, it maybe will help you structure it a little bit better. But you guys pretty much answered his other 2 questions. So, talking about how you size your bets across outright positionals, what's your strategy to draw down winnings versus growing bankrolls. So, I think that you guys summed that up pretty well. His last question was, why is Brooks Koepka such a punk bitch?
You want to go first, buddy?
Let me just, but before that, so as far as like growing your bankroll or, drawing down cash, it really depends on what you're trying to do for it, right? First of all, always bet responsibly. Do not bet outside of your limits. As somebody who has done that on numerous occasions, don't do it. It's not worth the fucking stress. But yeah, it really just depends what you're trying to do, man. If you're just having fun with it, like if you're like, hey, I'm trying to, I don't know, whatever, fucking pay for a weekend out of town with the old lady or, whatever, then pull it out when you get it. Don't leave it in there. Pull it out when you get it. If you're legit trying to turn this into like a grind and you're trying to squeeze out ROI, then figure out what your end goal is and figure out what you're putting in, what you're putting out, and then just grow it however big you need to grow it to get what you need to get it, right? So if you're getting, a 13% return and you want to make a living on it, do the math on how much money you actually fucking need that bankroll to be. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it just depends on what your end goal is for drawing down the bank.
I mean, for me, I'm not betting like life-changing money. Like I have a pretty well-paying job. Like this is just entertainment at this point. So for me, I kind of just hit a certain number, and when my accounts hits it, I draw down, and then I just get to there. And honestly, not to pat myself on the shoulder, I've been doing pretty well with golf gambling for a couple of years now. I don't have to reload. So based on how I bet, I just kind of slowly accumulate. And then I'm like, oh, hey, here's like $1,500, $2,000 at the end of the year. I'm just going to withdraw on that. And there we go.
Yep. Yeah. Unlike me, who bets on cockroaches running up a wall and completely destroy everything else.
Yeah. That's a whole different animal when you're betting with credits it's a lot harder for you to press submit bet when you don't have to see the money go away from your account first.
Yep. Absolutely.
It does make you pause a little bit. I think the last thing I'm going to say about bankroll management is, you kind of mentioned this right at the top there. I always say that if you can go to sleep every night knowing that you lost every single bet and you can still fall asleep, you're doing it right. And if not, you're not doing it right at that point. It's like my co-host said, it's not worth the stress if you're betting way above your means on this stuff.
Yeah, especially like if you're trying to dig out of a hole. Like, Vito doesn't exist anymore. They're not going to come break your fucking knees. Like, just be honest, work it out with them, fucking figure it out, pay your debts, and fucking however long it takes. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, don't put yourself in that bad spot. Like, yeah, don't.
There you go.
So why is Brooks Koepka? What was the question? Such a douche?
Such a punk bitch, in his words.
So I was always Brooks over Bryson just because I could not fucking stand Bryson. Bryson's another one that I just look at him and he's just so not authentic, and like he made me take Brooks's side. I don't like Brooks's frat boy attitude and things like that. The swing you, what the fuck is it? Swing up? What's
full swing?
Full swing. God, I will never get that thing right.
Swing up.
I don't fucking know. I would say that like it made him a little more human to me. I still don't like him. Like, he's still kind of a douchebag. But I mean, listen, man, look at the fucking sport we cover. It's nothing but a bunch of, for the most part, right? I'll couch it with saying a majority of the players that we cover are all rich country club frat boy douchebags. Like, there is maybe on two hands the amount of guys that I'd probably want to hang out with that play professional golf. Maybe, and that might be stretching it. Like, if I thought about it, like, I can think of like 3 off the top of my head. And other than that, I have to think about it. Like these guys they're just different people, man. They're all douchebags. I don't know if that makes sense, but like most professional golfers are douchebags. They can't handle stress. They can't handle noise. They can't handle, everything has to be perfect conditions. Like, I don't know. Like, I love the sport. I don't like 90% of the guys I cover, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense. I love the game and I love to gamble. So that's why I love this aspect of it. But yeah, I would say most professional golfers are fucking douchebags.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I would call Brooks a punk ass bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm biased. I love Brooks. I know I've had some disappointing dad moments with him on this podcast about when he says certain things or give excuses, all that stuff. I do think that he does put up a front of this tough guy persona, just like, maybe that frat boy attitude. I think he's very insecure about himself, though. You kind of saw that in the Netflix show. That probably relates to something that happened as a kid, that he had to put up some sort of wall to present to everybody when has some sort of lingering doubts on the inside sometimes about his ability or everything like that. So I don't like the fact that he is a little inconsistent with how he gives his messaging. Either you're the type of guy who doesn't need practice, or you go to the media the following week, you say, oh, do you know how hard I'm practicing at this stuff? There's a lot of double talk at this point. But overall, though, I mean, I when he's on, there's not many golfers I prefer watching. Just pick apart a golf course like Brooks Koepka can. There's a lot of fond gambling memories and just being a fan of his that I still kind of hang on to. So I'm the wrong guy to ask that question, I guess.
Well, so I agree with you, Chris. Like, I never really thought about it until that story about Cam Young and the MLB came out, and it's like, you want to hear this like cool story about how he got an MLB sponsorship, and it's just like, no, his dad was like friends with Rob Manfred at the local country club from Connecticut, like something crazy.
This Scotty, Will Z, like some of these guys are just from not like rich families. Like,
so that's kind of why I like Sam Bennett's story. And I know it went super viral, but I've been to Madisonville. It's bumfuck nowhere. Right. And he grew up playing on a 9-hole course. Like, that's just crazy. So the next question is from Russell Ward on Twitter. He wants to know who's winning the Mexico Open. I think that's next week, right?
It is. Do we even know who's in it? I tried finding the field, and I can't even find a field.
John Rahm.
I don't think he's gonna play, dude.
Bro, I'm telling you. I told you when we talked about it.
I know you did, but he needs a nap.
He's taking a nap this week. He's a golf freak. So you weren't watching. Like, he came in the booth. He sat and did how long? What do you think he did? Like 20 minutes of commentary at least after like questions. Just sat there and broke down like what the player was thinking, the type of shots. And it was great because it was when Cantlay got the ball in the wedge, and he was talking about it. And like, he loves golf. He's a golf fucking freak. And like I said before, like I think because it's a Hispanic country, and he actually gives a shit about growing the game to get people that are like him to fucking play and be able to spread it in places that might not get it. Like, I legit everything he said about showing up to RBC after winning the Masters when Rory was a little bitch and went home because he wanted to do it for the fans and the kids, that to me is like, oh, he's definitely playing the Mexico Open, because if he wants to do it for the kids in South Carolina, he's definitely going to want to do it for the kids in Mexico. No question.
All right, well, then that probably means he's skipping Wells Fargo the following week. That's an elevated event then.
Yeah, but he hasn't skipped an elevated event yet, so.
Okay. All right. I don't think he's going to play Mexico. That's my opinion. As far as we're going to win Mexico, probably someone under 60-1, because that's what's been happening with golf gambling, no matter what tournament we go to. And it's probably going to be someone with distance because it's past Palm and it's long. And it kind of turned to a driving contest last year, as seen by Cam Champ contending. So if Cam Champ can contend, just target somebody who hits it long.
I had that scam Champ ticket last year, and I was all good until he fucking double bogeyed. Was it 14? Something like that. I was fucking pissed.
Yeah, well, that's scam Champ for you, buddy.
Yeah.
You got what you deserved.
Fuck you too, bud.
When is he going to lose his card?
Pretty soon. Because what he won 2 years ago?
Yes, and I mean, there's past honestly, it's very difficult to actually lose your card if you've been on the tour for multiple years and you're a former winner. Especially with how these elevated events and non-elevated events are kind of stacking out. Like, you got to go really deep down the priority listing to get the field. It's going to be very difficult for them to actually like go away. Like, some of these other guys go into Corn Ferry Tour purgatory. That's not going to happen to him. He's either going to get sponsorship exemptions, or he's going to be high enough on the priority list, either career earnings or former winner stuff. So don't worry. Scam Champ will be in your life, costing you money for years to come.
I think I'm done. Although I might go back to him one more time. I might go back to him with the Masters. Oh, wait, he's not
there anymore.
Okay, so yeah, I'm probably done with him.
Unless he wins the Mexico Open, so.
Well, he's one of my favorite golfers, so I want to see him.
You only like him because his name's fucking Cam.
No, I like him because he hits bombs. His name's Cameron, and he went to my school.
All right. I'll give you the alumni thing.
He's not even a good golfer. He's not an actual golfer, because that's all he fucking does.
Yeah.
He sucks at everything else. I think that's why I don't like Cam Champ.
Yeah.
He's such a waste of a talent. I'm sorry. He fucking is.
You know who's not a waste of a talent?
Well, no, I'm not done. I'm on a civil rant. Like, Cam Young is what we were hoping for out of Cam Champ. Like, he actually is a good golfer and hits it a mile. Cam Champ can't do shit. I'm sorry.
What ticket did he ruin for us? Fucking when he took driver off the and put it in the woods and somehow still got home, and I can't remember if he pad or fucking.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever bet Cam Champ to be.
No, we had the fucking guy right behind Cam Champ with the one fucking tournament he won. It was like 150 to 1.
Oh, with the 3M.
3M. Who did we have?
Was it Vegas? I had Schwartzel.
Oh, it was Vegas. It was definitely Vegas.
I had Schwartzel.
Yeah,
that was a tough scene.
Yeah.
So, all
right. So someone who's not a waste of talent, Max Homa.
Yes.
Is he going to win the U.S. Open? It's at LACC.
So I'm gonna say Steve told me that it's not fucking Poa.
No, it's not,
and it troubles me.
But isn't that his home course?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, LACC is very exclusive.
Makes sense.
That's not your home course at that point. Look, Max Homa wins the U.S. Open if he contends at Oak Hill, because there is a very strong prerequisite that you got to have some sort of major, not necessarily top 10, you got to like contend, like be kind of sniffing around, like kind of like what Cantlay did. Like, it wasn't a top 10 of the Masters, but he was in the mix going into Sunday. Like, you need something like that. He has none of that. So unless he does that at Oak Hill, he's not winning the U.S. Open. I'm sorry. I'm going to stick to that take until
I agree.
Until forever.
I agree with you. Like, I was very disappointed with how he played at the Masters. Like, all the wins that he's racking up and how good he's been playing. Like, it could just be a mental block. And look, it could just be Homa is what he is. And he's going to play good at courses that fit his style. I mean, you got to think about it. This is a guy who did lose his card and had to get it back and had to grind. You know what I mean? So it might not just be in the CADS for him, right? He just might not be a major winner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think that way about Tony Finau and Xander. They're not going to be major winners. So maybe he's just another one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, our friend Cameron Percy said that he's like one of the most fun players to play with on tour. So
yeah,
I hope it's not mental block. I hope it's just like that course just is tough for him. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, with that said, I do think he's going to play well at Oak Hill. I think that is a golf course going to set up well for him. I don't think he's going to win, but I will be very encouraged if he's like in the mix there. That will make me say, okay, I'm willing to bet you at the U.S. Open at that point. But otherwise, though, no, I'm just not going to.
I'm freaking excited.
Huh. Good.
I bet Gary Woodland at like 140 to 1 to win LACC.
Why?
I told you, because Barra fucking bullied me into it.
You host your own golf gambling podcast. You don't have to be influenced by others.
Listen, man, I don't know if you know, like I'm very, first of all, it's 125 to 1. And if I'm breaking balls back and forth and I'm had some drinks and he seems like he made a good point, I'll go grab it. Fuck it.
Okay.
All right. We're switching it up a little bit. No more golf for a minute. What is your favorite children's movie? You guys both have daughters.
Oh shit.
So I'm sure you've watched a bunch of children's movies. What is your favorite? Like, if you had to choose, like, what would you put on?
Oh, all right. So I guess like Rapunzel's is a solid one. Like for that,
the Tangled one.
Tangled is super solid. Tangled solid. I've just seen Frozen too many fucking times. Like, I've legitimately seen that movie like 200 fucking times. Great movie though. Like like if your girls or your kids are young and haven't seen it, great movie. Moana, that's another great one that I'll watch. I think Tangled is my favorite. I don't know why, but I like the Tangled movie. It's solid, and it's I like got
Tangled. Some good songs.
Yeah, good songs, and it's just kind of funny. Good, yeah. Mother Knows Best is a good one. Just makes me think of Susan Sarandon. Like, the mom looks just like Susan Sarandon.
What about you, Steve?
I mean, Moana is probably the go-to for our little one. I mean, she mostly prefers Nick Jr. though. So, okay. But when we do go Disney, it's either Moana or Frozen 2. She doesn't like Frozen 1. She likes Frozen 2, which is the worst version. Although some of the songs in that one are okay.
Yeah, but dude, Frozen 2 is kind of sad. There's a couple songs in there that are sad. I'm like, dude, fuck off. Like, I know I'm getting older. Like, this is the second.
Well, she's
Frozen
3.
movie
she doesn't really understand that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about my experience. We're talking about not what the kids like, what our favorite movie is.
Our experience with children's movies is just trying to keep our kids calm at this point. So that's what they serve. But no, she likes Frozen 2.
So mine are a little older, so like it's like family movie night type shit. Like, okay, we're all sitting around.
All right, so
Nick Jr. Who's on Nick Jr. is the doctor who fixes the stuffed animals, right?
What, Dr. McStuffins?
Yeah, McStuffins.
I think that's Disney.
Oh, is it Disney?
You can tell we have very young kids, huh?
I've never heard of Dr. McStuffins.
There's like 22-year-olds are like, what the fuck are we talking about? I never want to have kids at this point. So why don't we transition? Like, all right. So what about just like for us though, like kids excluded? Like, what was your favorite children's movie like when you were a kid?
Oh,
all right. How about Sandlot?
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah,
Sandlot's a great one. I loved League of Their Own.
That's not a children's movie.
Well, you said when I was a kid.
Children's movies.
Fine.
That's PG. I think it's PG-13, buddy.
No, it's not.
League of Their Own?
No fucking way. PG. Look it up right now. Dude, my daughter's got me like a There's No Crying in Baseball Father's Day God.
I'm pretty sure it's PG-13.
Okay. Absolutely not. It's PG.
All right.
Dude, the line, all the great Disney movies came out when we were kids, like that Lion King. Oh my God. I think that was the first time I cried in a movie. I was in a movie theater and I was like, fucking what? I was in like second or third grade. Fucking me and my buddy are sitting next to each other with our parents trying not to cry because Simba's dad died.
Yeah, that is pretty fucked up.
It's fucked up,
that Simba's uncle killed his dad and then got with his mom.
Yeah, pretty fucked up.
Yeah, there's a lot of really.
And then I saw something on the internet that must be true, but me and my wife looked at it. So Sky at one point is like licking a skull, and it's Mustafa's skull because lions eat other lions' dead bodies. I can't remember the reasoning on it, but it made 100% sense. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't know that until I was almost 40, because that is fucked up.
That is pretty messed up.
Lion King, or you know which one I really liked when I was a kid, but Cam's definitely too young for. Do you remember this one, Steve? The Robin Hood one?
No, I'm not too young.
Yeah.
I watched that.
Remember that one, the Robin Hood? The animated one? Fucking love that. Love that. I see that. I saw that so many times.
I watched the intro song.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Amazing.
I mean, the original Toy Story is great.
So that's what my kid is on right now. We watch Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4 over and over. And Chris, that Robin Hood is actually on Disney Plus now. You can go back and watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm definitely gonna watch that. Yeah, so I think Toy Story I was a little old for. I was like 12 or 13 when it came out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so that was past.
I was 8. Yeah, so it's right in my demographic there. Little Giants, just because I'm a Giants fan. That was always great.
Statue of Liberty play?
Exactly. No, annexation of Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's right.
That's what it's called.
Right.
Hook.
Hook is great, dude. I
Great.
actually just showed that to my daughter, my 10-year-old, the other night, because everybody else was gone. It was just me and her. I was like, "You want to watch a movie?" And we did Hook, and she fucking loved it. I was like, "Yes."
It's so good. Rest in peace,
but you know what's
Williams. Rest in peace.
You know what's so weird though that I didn't pick up on as a kid? Peter Pan left Wendy at the altar.
How do you figure that?
They talk about it in the beginning. Rewatch it right now. It's so Wendy's talking about he used to come back all the time, and he would try to get her to go back to Neverland, and Rob Williams didn't decide to become a human until he saw Wendy's granddaughter in the crib, and that's when he decided to become human, and he became a baby. And then Wendy, who he left at the altar, started taking care of him, and then he married Wendy's granddaughter. Very fucked up part of the storyline. Trust me.
I guess that is true.
I was like, how don't I remember this shit? I texted like a group text, and I was like, yo, Hook is very different. Smee likes hookers, and Peter Pan is fucking Wendy's granddaughter. I don't know what's happening with this movie now as an adult.
That's one way to describe Hook. Okay.
All right.
I think there was actually one more plot hole about Hook.
Yeah.
So how did Captain Hook die? Was it just because, and then like the croc clock fell on him, but then he disappeared?
Right.
I think the croc's dead, right?
Right.
So where'd he go?
Yeah. I don't know. I agree. I don't get it either.
All right. Whatever. All right. Details.
Chris, Steve, you got to show your daughter Bluey if you haven't watched that one. That's
yes. She's off Bluey. She likes the theme song, but she's not so much into the cartoon.
I actually enjoy watching Bluey.
Yeah. You can actually buy golf head covers of Bluey. They sell those. That you can put in your bag if you want.
Jake comes in. Just any throwback movie? Just turning in. Very surprised to hear Disney chat.
All right, we'll go back to golf. Here, we'll do one more non-golf one first. Right. Your go-to vacation spot.
Well, okay. I mean, I've had fucking children forever, so it's Orlando. It's Orlando. It's Disney, Universal. When the Nickelodeon suites used to be down here. Because listen, man, you got like 4 kids and a wife. If you want to fly somewhere, I mean, you're out a couple G's off the jump just for the flight. Never mind anything else. But if it's not Florida or the amusement parks, which the kids love, and like we figured out how to do it right where you're not miserable, getting the annual passes and just basically hitting fast passes, going back to the hotel when it's hot, and swimming, and then going back at night. It's probably the Outer Banks. We've been there multiple times.
Well, that's my go-to spot.
Yep.
I'm going there next week. So
nice.
We go there every single year. And I actually, when we first started doing this show, I told Capper that I was going to be available for, I think, the Fortnite championship coverage. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going on vacation too. I'm like, where are you going? Outer Banks. Oh, I'm going to Outer Banks. So we just randomly met up with Tommy, and we golfed at Nag's Head. I will be golfing there again a couple times next week.
It's a fun course.
It's a very fun course.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to going to Outer Banks. We do that every April. I'll also be doing SGPN draft coverage down there. It'll be a good time.
So fun.
Sweet.
All right. What's your go-to spot? Do you freeze?
Oh no.
They'll drive out there. It's only 18-hour drive, something like that. You usually split it up, stop in Louisiana at a casino, stay for the night, and then finish it out and get to Destin. I'm a mountain guy though. My go-to place is like Colorado, Breckenridge. Out there, go skiing. It's where we grew up going.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, funny you mentioned.
My mom lives out in Alma, which is like farther up the mountain than Breckenridge. It's like where like the South Pack bar is. and so we went down the mountain to Breckenridge, where I went out to Colorado in July and met her. And so like you got to use like little walking around air tanks and shit. I was like, oh, this is fine. To like try to carry a luggage bag on a flight of stairs. I was gonna have a fucking heart attack.
So I saw an article today that apparently the guys who did Bandon are going to be creating a golf resort outside Denver.
I saw that.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Denver, sneaky, dirty city. I figured with all the fucking like hippies and shit out there, like it would be like clean.
Well, hippies are dirty.
Sneaky down on that, but I don't mean like. I just mean there was like trash everywhere. Like they're not recycling. Like I stepped over a fucking dead guy.
I mean, there's a lot of hippies in San Francisco. That's a pretty dirty city too.
That's fair. I was just surprised. I was like, man, I thought Denver would be fucking cleaner. But
sorry to disappoint you.
All right. So back to some golf questions. What is your all-time favorite outright win?
Okay, Capper.
It's tough for me. There's two. They're both recent. Keegan, because Keegan finally fucking won, but it was 3:00 in the morning and I was fucking miserable, so that can't be it. It's got to be Cam Smith at the Open, just because I was so happy that Rory lost, and I was so happy that Cam Smith won. I hate the fact that he went to LIV after, but I was so adamant that Cam Smith was going to win that fucking thing, and it wasn't my most profitable, but it was probably my favorite.
Okay. I mean, we did a summer list back in the December mailbag where we talked about, I think, our favorite outrights that we hit during the year. Mm-hmm. So we're sending this out forever. I mean, honestly, probably my favorite one. I hit JT 50-1 when he won the PGA. That was pretty good. That was before I started doing golf content. So it was basically just me celebrating with my friends that didn't really care at that point.
They're like, are you buying this round then?
Exactly, pretty much. But as far as recently, I would say probably the new number one since I'm doing the podcast, when Scotty won Phoenix this year, because I actually, listen, I love the fact that I won the money and won the outright, but I also love being fucking right and being publicly fucking right on this stuff. And I win this podcast and saying Scotty's going back to back, made my one and done pick, made a big stand for Scotty that week, and he hit on Super Bowl Sunday again. They basically paid for all my shitty bets for the Super Bowl later on for the second year in a row. That was pretty good.
Steve loves nothing more than being right. He could give.
I love
about the money.
Being right.
That was a good one. I was not. I had him out. For my one and done and outright as well. That was a fun one. Mine was Will Zalatoris.
Oh, yeah.
St. Jude.
That's a good one.
But I haven't been gambling on golf as much as you guys have, or as long as you guys have.
I regret missing. I think I didn't put 3 weeks worth of picks in one and done.
This year? Last year?
No, this year. And I'm in second in our little league. I was like, damn, that's pretty.
Well, so I'm 60th in the Mayo Cup, but I do different picks in our little pool, and I'm awful. Yeah. So, which is a good thing. I'd rather be much better in the Mayo Cup than
maybe if you come in first or second here. Dude. I mean, I came in like 50th in the Mayo Cup last year. I got like $800.
Okay. Well,
I think our payouts
more than that.
We got like 20. We got like 21 people.
I mean, I think first place in the Mayo Cup is like $50,000.
Yeah, first place.
I'm 60th. I'm close.
I love the confidence. Don't know where it's coming from, but I love it.
All right.
Well, your boy is in first in ours.
Yes.
I know. Cam is. Listen, as long as Tommy doesn't win again, it's fine.
All right. Here, I'll ask this one first. If you could only watch one golfer for the rest of time, who would it be? The rest of time, forever. And you could only watch him.
Oh, this is an easy answer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, easy answer, Jordan Spieth.
That's what name popped in my brain too.
Yeah, because you don't know what the hell's going to happen with him. And he's got fantastic recovery shots. He's going to blow a shot miles right. He's like, oh, how is the hero going to get out of this situation again? And then somehow he does, and sometimes he doesn't.
The only thing
he almost fell off a fucking cliff, for God's sakes.
It's true, but I just worry about he was so bad for so long. Like if he gets bad again, then I'm stuck just watching bad Jordan Spieth with the histrionics on the fucking golf course for fucking 15 years.
Yeah, but like it vacillates with him. Like either like he's like such a great ball striker and he misses like 2-foot putts. That's pretty entertaining. Or he's hitting it all over the map, but he's so good like around the green with putting, he just saves it. Like I can't think of a time during Jordan Spieth's career where it might have been pretty sad what was happening, but shit, it was entertaining.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Okay,
so that's good. I'm glad you guys answered with him because it's probably going to make this next question a different answer. But who is your favorite golfer of all time? So it can go back however long you want.
I have a weird obsession.
I already know what he's going to say.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
With Henrik Stenson.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? I got to revise my answer. When Stenson won the Open Championship over Phil, and I think I was the only one on the planet was room for Henrik Stenson at that point. That's my favorite outright. I was so happy that Stenson won. I love Henrik Stenson for whatever fucking reason. I really admire his game. I think he's like secretly funny. He's got a really dry sense of humor too. I think just the fact that he just said, screw it, I'm not hitting driver. I'm just going to hit 3-wood. He just made his own. He was
old blue.
He was awesome with it. Yeah. That little blue Diablo.
Yeah.
That was
it cost me that matchup. Like when we first started this fucking thing.
I mean, your ego cost you that matchup. All right.
No, it's Blue Diablo. If I know that was in the bag, I wouldn't have fucking bet it.
That's true.
He brought it back that week. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. No, Stenson by far my favorite golfer. And I honestly don't even fault him for going to LIV. He is provide me with a lot of happiness. Go get paid, buddy.
Mine's super easy.
Fair enough. If you Google him, that blue 3-wood is like the first picture that pops up.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yeah, Keegan for me. Wanted to fight on the golf course. New England guy. Don't get too many of them that are halfway decent, like personality wise. He's got good height videos, and I've committed to the bit. So that's it, man. He wears Jordans, so fuck yeah, let's go.
Okay.
All right. Okay, this one's from Paulie. With putting being so hard to predict and volatile, should people be weighing it very minimally in their models or prep work?
So this is what I'm talking about with Paulie.
That question for Paulie. I know. Look at that.
I know. I'm proud of him. So I guess the cop-out answer is I think it depends. Yeah. It depends on the tournament. Yeah. I guess my answer to this question is not really what he's looking for. Like the traditional models that you guys are all doing where you guys are ranking players based on certain weights, I kind of just don't. I think maybe it's controversial. I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb how you guys are doing it. Like you are weighting certain things without really actually knowing. Like, is that actually like the right attribute and right weight to put into a certain tournament? So like how I do it, I have a giant spreadsheet that is like the Andy Reid play sheet that has just everything of what you're doing. And sure, like if I'm at a golf course where I don't think that like ball striking is really all that challenging, if you're somebody who consistently putts pretty well, I'm probably going to find a way to back you. Now, round to round, that's where putting is really variable. But over the long run, if you're generally a pretty good putter, unless you're kind of, like struggling or you need to putter everything, like it kind of just stays true. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that was my roundabout way of saying that I don't think models are really how people are doing models are the way to go as far as like weighting, putting, and everything. I don't know.
So listen, you know me, I'm a gut guy, but you have to use models to in DFS, right? Maybe not for your betting card, right? But you do, and so it's just like when you're trying to run the script of a football game and you're changing the projections versus mean and median. What's the highest outcome? What's this and that? You're just using it as a tool. It's not the be all end all, right? So you're just using it to see, all right, based on so would it help you if you thought about, okay, so if you're handicapping a Giants Eagles game, how you think the game script's going to go, right? So now you're putting whatever Boston Scott carries, right? You think he's going to get 10, right? Versus his normal 6. So you're changing the weightings on how you think it's going to go. If you're wrong, then your model's fucking worthless. Do you know what I mean? But if you're right and you target the right type of guys, and that's why I don't know. I think putting, look, it's a tiebreaker for me. I look at more like how they do on the surface and things like that. But Steve's right. It depends on the course. Is it fucking super easy? Is it super undulating? It could be a tiebreaker for me, but Steve's right as far as long term. If you're a good putter, you're a good putter. But as we know, to catch a winner, you got to catch a spike week for the most part, unless you're fucking Scotty Scheffler, who could just be neutral and fucking win a goddamn tournament. You're trying to catch spike weeks in putting because that's just the way it is. So I wouldn't disregard it completely. I would definitely pay attention to the surface and how important you think putting is that week. That's how you model it.
I guess what I mean by the models is I think you need to look at the actual raw numbers and the search game numbers. You can't just look at, he's 25th in my model versus a guy who's 75th. The difference in numeric values at that point might not be very significant. And
correct.
It's very misleading at that point. That's what I have the big problem with is when people kind of cite that stuff and just go off of that. You need to actually look at the number too.
The only thing I use my model for is so I can see the data. I don't give a shit if you're third in my model. If I look and see something I don't like, I'm like, nah, you're out. You know what I mean? I might be wrong on this. And I don't get into minutia with the model. I just want the general idea on the type of player I'm targeting. What's your general form like? Are you good putting here? Do you have good putting performance of history here? Are you good on the surface? Have you lost? How many strokes putting have you lost recently? Most of the guys I bet.
All right,
there's a question I have to ask.
Listen,
how many strokes last tournament did you lose?
Different folks for different strokes. So as long as you make money using that or how I do it, whatever, it doesn't matter at that point.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. We got a fuck, marry, kill. An FMK, good old fashioned FMK.
Great.
This one is tailored to Capper. All right, we got Kevin Na.
This one, Steve?
Kevin Na, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Rory McIlroy.
What evil prick fucking put this one in?
Yours truly.
Oh, nice.
You know him so well.
All right, so I killed Kevin Na because he was an asshole to Tommy.
Who's Tommy?
Listen, man, if you're an hour and 8 into this show, you know who fucking Tommy is. All right? Okay. We talked about Disney movies for 15 fucking minutes.
Remember we got that review, by the way, about how we nickname certain golfers and that they're not generally known. I think that's where that came from with me. I'm like, who is this guy? When you say, the ear.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think we've just gone back and we've actually, I think, slid back on that.
Yeah, we absolutely
just call him the ear at this point, and everyone just knows.
Yeah.
We don't care if you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So. Google it.
Yes. I don't even think that's gonna help you.
And I guess I'll fuck Fitz because I want to hurt him. And
Jesus, dude, you did this last time.
I just hurt him. I didn't go into the detail last time.
No, you actually did go into the very nitty gritty detail. It was
that's
very
what I said.
awkward.
I didn't do it last time. Yeah, I said I didn't do it.
Still, you have some sort of you have some sort of rage issue when it comes to that topic.
Well,
Jesus.
And then I'll marry Rory because he's got the most money, and I'm a whore. So I'll try to convert him to the good Irish.
You also said in our group chat that you hate Matt Fitzpatrick's face. So
yeah, I do. So bury it in the pillow. See, now you're just gonna make me
again.
make
there it is.
Uncomfortable.
Man, All right. Do I have to answer?
No.
I mean,
no, you don't.
Okay.
You don't have to.
It's weird. It's weird. CBS doesn't ask me on this show. It's so strange.
Steve, you can answer this one. Who's going to have more majors, Scotty Scheffler or John Rahm, as we stand now? Okay, so right now,
Rahm's what, 28? Scheffler's 26.
Is he only 26?
I think he's only 26.
Yeah, he's young.
I'm gonna say Rahm because I do think Scotty's putter is a problem. Yeah. That I don't think that's gonna get. That's the tiebreaker. I think Rahm can do everything Scotty can do off the tee with the irons around the green. It's just that Rahm has been consistently a better putter over his career. That's going to stick. So I'm going to say Rahm is going to have more majors. But I do think, like, when we get asked this question, like, then you go like, oh, over, under 5.5, 6, 7 majors, like, you know, of a guy who just won. Like, there's a lot of really good players on the PGA Tour, and there's a lot of really good young guys coming up too. That is just going to add a lot more competition. So, as far as like career majors for Rahm, I would probably say maybe he only wins like maybe 1 or 2 more, and that's probably it.
He's got at least 2 more in the tank, baby.
I know, but like, listen, Koepka's only on 4, Rory's almost only on 4, Spieth's only on 3.
I feel Rahm is
DJ only has 2.
Okay, so DJ's probably the most disappointing golfer based on his talent level of our generation. No question, right? No question.
Probably the biggest underachiever, yes.
That's what I mean. So biggest disappointment, right? So underachiever, same thing. So Brooks derailed by injuries, right? And ego, if we're being honest, right?
Okay.
So Rahm doesn't have an ego. Spieth has been bad.
I mean, Rahm has a temper. Rahm has a temper.
He doesn't have a temper anymore, man. That narrative is so fucking
that is fucking bullshit.
Tired.
You go on PGA Tour Live, he hits a bad shot, they have to dump all his audio.
Saying fuck is different than chucking a club.
That's a temper, dude.
Listen, I don't care.
Maybe not to you, but to other people, that's a temper.
Yeah, to the clutch your pearls golf community. Oh my god!
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he just has a temper.
I would say he has his temper way more in check. Right, as you get older, like you get way more. Dude, it's way more in check than it used to be. The fact you have to acknowledge that. If you don't, then
fine. He's not breaking tee box markers anymore.
Fine, fair enough. That's all I could get. Anyway, I just think his temperament and the fact that he's a golf freak, and I think Jordan can win another 1 or 2. I really do. He's just so much more sporadic. Rahm is, for the most part, his golf game, right? His golf game is pretty fucking even keeled, right? He can do whatever he wants with the ball. He's young enough. He's got the drive. Like I think he ends up with 5.
Okay, all right, 4 or 5. You're basically splitting hairs. I think the only last thing on this, well, maybe not the last thing. You might have a retort. Guys with shorter backswings have a shorter shelf life.
No, I agree with you on that. I do. Yeah.
So. Although with how Scheffler swings the club, there is some possibility of back injury with that.
So I was going to say, never thought about that.
I was going to say, what is like, you look at guys like Tiger, right? Like obviously this is different, right? But he also destroyed his back because of how hard he swings. And look at fucking Bryson, obviously different fucking level, right? So yeah, the shorter backswing might be a shorter shelf life because he's not hitting as far. But if his iron game is still super strong and he's good around the green and a good putter, I would think that would actually elongate your career since you don't have to worry about the back injuries. Now, Rahm's a hefty man, right? He clearly likes his pasta like me. So maybe that could have some effect on it as well.
Maybe that club foot comes back.
Oh, that's another reason I love Rahm. I always forget about that.
Yes, because you both had club feet.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I had the castle.
Oh, that's so cute.
I love Rahm.
I can't believe Scotty Scheffler is younger than me.
Okay, he looks like he's 40.
I know. So does John.
John doesn't look like he's 40.
I don't know. When I found out he was 28, I was like, what? I thought he was like 32.
Listen, get to our age where everybody's now younger than you, and that's pretty depressing. Everybody finally realized
everybody's a kid.
Yeah.
Everybody's a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just really haven't accepted the fact that I'm, 27.
Oh, you poor fucking baby. Jesus Christ.
No.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, 27. That was before I ever got my first case of gout. So, yeah, consider yourself lucky.
I've never gotten. You know how? So I've never gotten gout. I don't go to the doctor. That's how I know I don't have any problems. That's how I know I'm healthy as a horse.
Oh yes, yes.
I haven't seen a doctor in forever.
Listen, you know what? Alcohol kills germs. So the fact you drink, all that stuff, you probably have no viruses or anything bad in you.
No, 100% healthy. That's it.
There you go.
All right. Well, that's it.
All right.
An hour and 15 on a mailbag. It's pretty good.
There you go.
Pretty good.
All right. So program schedule next week. I haven't talked with Capper about this, but I'm going to tell him right now. So because I'm traveling over the weekend, I'm going to pre-record a Mexico Open preview like I did last year.
Okay.
And then I should be available to do podcasts down the Outer Banks. So we can do a DFS show and a betting show Monday, Tuesday. Or if this field really is complete dreck, maybe we just come do a Tuesday show.
Yeah, that's fine.
TBD.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Because if it's really a bad field, I'm not sure how much DFS we're gonna have. Really
I was gonna say I can always get a DFS guy on here for a DFS show.
Okay,
while you can enjoy your vacation. Hey, it's 9:56 if you're watching live. If you haven't filed your taxes, go hit the fucking extension button. Just saying.
Yes.
Go file that extension, like I just did, because I can't find a couple documents.
Unbelievable.
It's fine. It's an extension. Whatever, dude. Fucking doesn't matter.
I know.
Listen, it's anything I owe them is going to be paltry to what I used to owe them.
That is true. I'm glad that you finally settled that debt.
Yeah, me too. Your boy didn't want to be in an orange jumpsuit. That would have been very, very bad.
Yeah, I didn't want to have a new co-host too.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, welcome. All right, I got nothing else. You got anything else?
No, that's it, man. Yeah, fuck it. Go Bruins. I don't give a shit about golf this week. Let's go fucking bees. All right. Fucking follow me on Twitter at Boss_Capper. Follow Cameron at Cameron_Kerr. 2 apps.
No, Kerr Cameron.
Damn it. Fuck. Anyway, and go follow the Golf Gambling Podcast. What's the handle? Is this GGP Podcast? Is that what it is?
No, it's a Golf Gambling Pod.
There you go. Perfect.
You really know how to sell our stuff, buddy.
Listen, man, Cam runs all the shit. I just fucking interact with it every once in a while. He's a social media wizard compared to me. I just scroll while I'm smoking a cigarette.
He's a very valuable member of our team, by the way. Cameron, you do a great job for us. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. You can find Steve in Discord because I don't go in there anymore because it's too busy and everybody mushes everything. So So you can go mush some bets that I can't see so I can get mad at people. Talk to you motherfuckers next week. Let's go.